Black Queens of Ghana fell short against host side Morocco. It was, for me, the first half especially, probably the best 45 minutes of football I have seen from a Black Queens team maybe in the last 5 years. Pretty good performance. I thought that it was enough to have given Ghana at least 2 or 3 goals in that game. Unfortunately, the Queens couldn't take advantage. The Queens took the game all the way to penalties after Morocco got an equalizer and lost on penalties. Some of the penalty shots taken were pretty bad. I was not too happy with the goalkeeper's performance as well, especially during the shootout. I was not happy at all. But that brings us to the juncture. Have we done well by featuring in the third place playoff game, which I believe is happening as we speak? Yes, Ghana and South Africa, that's happening right now. Or, judging from the fact that we had Morocco in a chokehold in that first half, we should have won that game. Let me start off by getting to Mr. Ofer. Gabby, you follow the tournament well. I want to know your sentiments around all of this. So, Bjorgren not being given a chance, Queens coming into this as underdogs or dark horses even. Semi-final berth, we're in a third place playoff game. We could finish third, possibly. Underachievers, or you think that the girls have really lifted the flag of Ghana and we need to comment? And what side of the divide do you fall?
Well, I think the girls have done well and we need to commend them. Especially, we have to, it's more about context. All right? 2 things. Ben, I think you know my stance on Mr. Kimlas Bjorgren. Took charge of the team in January, I think 4 or 5 months to the start of the WAFCON in Morocco. Yeah. Not pretty impressed with that outing against South Africa in the opening games. In fact, before that clash against South Africa, Kim was all over the place with the friendlies we were playing. And I said this on a TV program that it's just unfortunate for the Swedish that he had to chop and change the squad at the tournament. So if you want to draw comparisons with himself and Nora Hutla, who played a couple of games, some were friendly, some were qualified for the WAFCON, some were also qualified for the Olympic Games. I think Nora had the luxury of time to be chopping and changing, getting to know these girls really well, and it helped her. She built some momentum. We qualified for the WAFCON, only to fall short in the Paralympic qualifiers. But on the part of Kimlas Bjorgren's side, he had to be doing that to do that at the tournament. All right, and I don't think that helped him. I think we saw that in that first game against South Africa. We saw the second similar.
Beat us what, 2-0?
Yes, we lost to them by 2-0. We saw a similar thing in that 1-0 against Mali. Look, our best performances started from the second half against Tanzania in the final group game. I think that is where Kim began to know the kind of quality we have in that squad. Let's not forget that just 2 players have played at this highest level. Portia Boache and your good friend Sharifatu Sumaila, who came onto the pitch in that Morocco second half, and I were very surprised about the kind of football she was playing. But you cannot speak a lot about her because she's not been active for some time.
I'm learning she's a free agent.
Yes, a large chunk of the squad we took to Morocco were new to this pressure, especially with that semi-final clash against Morocco at the Olympic Stadium. I'm sure the girls will look around at the fans at the 21,000 capacity stadium and say, what kind of atmosphere is this? And typical of the North Africans, you know what they can do, very intimidating. You get that point. So you expect that on the part of that inexperienced beta will play, it will come to fruition on our side. And I think that's what disturbed us a bit. South Africa, Mali, and then that first half against Tanzania. That second half against Tanzania was good. Algeria, we went into that game facing one of the sides that had one of the best defensive shapes in that Algerian team. Not scoring a lot, just scored 1 goal in that game. And they clearly were satisfied with taking us to extras and penalties, and we managed to breeze past them. Look, do you know that some of the Moroccans were even in awe of that performance we put against Algeria? Even were in awe of that performance we put up against them. But they say it's just unfortunate that they had to go through. And it was down to quality, inexperience again, to that point I make.
Yeah.
All right, to make this short. Now going forward, this is actually a big learning curve from for the current squad and from Kim Las Bjorgren himself. I say so because we don't want to come and sit here again and have a conversation about why a certain marriage between Kim Las Bjorgren and the GFA did not work out. Somebody will say I've jumped the gun, but I have not, because we've seen this before with expatriates and the GFA. When it comes to what I want on the table, don't be surprised if you hear in the news that Kim says, pay me this amount of money because of what I've done at the WAFCON.
No, but even to begin with, he has overachieved. If you look at
that's what I'm saying.
The timelines he was given, the level of preparatory matches
that is what I'm saying.
He had to play.
Look, I tell you that the people at the FA, right? They say that we, the journalists, we did not give this team any dog chance. But the people at the FA know that, or they are even surprised that the team has gotten this far. From 2016, that we had our best performance at the WAFCON, and this same side that we faced at 2016 in the third place playoff, when we beat them 1-0 and took up that bronze medal. 2018, we exited in the group stage. We hosted. 2020, because of COVID, we did not participate. 2022, we did not qualify. And 2024, you've qualified. You brought in an expatriate coach with 4 months to the tournament. He's taking you to the semi-finals of the tournament. What can you build on? Keep the coach, keep the current squad. Because if you look at this squad, a large chunk of them are very young. And we have another qualifiers or another WAFCON to play in that same country, in Morocco. So I think it would be best on the part of the FA to keep this going. Now, what we want to know is that how much is the FA paying Mr. Kim Las Bjorgren? We do not know that.
Up to now.
We do not know. And
these are the issues I have with this.
We do not know this with regards to...
I'm a Kokagui.
Look,
Ben, the issues I have with the
to finish up, we did not know. We had zero idea about Noah Hutler's salary up until that story broke. That Hutler was asking for what? 7,000. At the time, they were paying about 5,000.
I said, give me 2,000.
And that's where the FA came out and said they were taking charge of airward accommodation and salary and stuff. We want to know how much is being paid, so that what he's done at Morocco, for the benefit of hindsight, we know that, okay, we can mark his KPIs, and going forward, we want to keep the Swedish and this what he's done, because the next WAFCON, now the Queens must break that near mess of getting to the final and not taking it. 1998 we were there, we lost to Nigeria. 2002 we were there, we lost to Nigeria again. 2006 we were there, we lost to Nigeria again in the finals. Why? All right, so I think this is a perfect blueprint for the GFA. Now look, in finishing up, the Queens
for the last 5
yes, because I stress because look, the Queens, right? What they've done in Morocco has even had people in parliament to be talking about them. You see, and it's very unfortunate that some section, in fact, the minority don't even think that what they have done is best enough, and they are saying that they've contributed to the Queen's success and that kind of stuff. In wrapping up, let's not mix politics with football.
See, they lay the foundations.
That's it for me.
Let me take your thoughts on Bjorgren. I don't know where you want to take from, but I'm keen on what happens with him. Does he kick on from here? Does he also think that he has enhanced his CV, so it's time to move on? What's going on with that?
I see Kim Las Bjorgren. I see him pulling off a Milovan Rajiva kind of move, where not much is expected of him. He goes out there. He does very well. He does very well, and he shows out. And offers come in. He makes some crazy demands, and we can't meet those demands. Then he moves, just like Milovan Rajiva did. But in a crazy way, I still believe that we underachieved. Call me crazy, but you have to look at the context. We went into this tournament as underdogs. Yes, that's true. with a coach who hadn't coached at the national level before, was new to this competition.
Yeah.
And we had major doubts about how good he was, judging by the fact that we weren't impressed with the way we were playing in the competition. But as the competition went on, as he moved on, he kept on showing signs of improvement with his personnel selection, with his tactical setup. He kept on improving. But some way, somehow, we still have underachieved. Whether we win bronze here or we finish fourth, we still have underachieved. How many times are we going to say, oh, okay, we've shown enough promise, the next edition, that will be the edition that we get to win the big one? It was there for the taking. That first half, we should have killed that game against Morocco. That first half, we should have killed that game against Morocco. And even in the second half, the first 10 minutes, the chances that we got, we squandered all of those chances. Then you look at the Morocco equalizer, fluke kind of goal, poor defending, all over the place. Then we just gifted them the opportunity to get themselves back in the game. And so, yes, everything points to they overachieving. But I'm looking at the game that got us to this level, the third place. That game could have been the game that takes us to the final, and not the third place. And that's where the underachievement comes in for me. That we had it in our hands and we dropped it yet again. That's where the underachievement comes in for me.
You know, we say, oh, they did well.
They did well. No. But look, you had it. Look at the game plan in that first half. We cornered the Moroccans. We frustrated them. We were playing very good football, attacking football. Everything was on point, and we were creating chances. The coaching was good. It was excellent. But some way, somehow, we still ended up losing that game. And so that, for me, can't be an overachievement or meeting expectations. That, for me, is still an achievement because of the contest that we are looking at. That semi-final game, that was the game that had everyone interested in. Everyone was interested in that game. And so for me, judging or rating their performance in this campaign at the 2024 CAF Women's AFCON, for me it was an underachievement. Despite the fact that, yes, they did some wonderful things. And for Kimlas Bjorgren, I won't be surprised if he pulls off a Milovan Riva kind of move, where because of what he was able to achieve, he's showing now that, yes, within these few months, I've been able to get these girls to play this way, particularly in that game against the host nation, Morocco. So definitely some offers will start trickling in, and he might have his head turned. He'll drop an offer that we can't meet. Then he'll make his move. So that's how I see it.
Edwin?
Look, yes, they've performed well, but I don't want to underrate his work in the tournament. I think, of course, you have to guide the team in moments within games and all that. But clearly, this team was still operating under the DNA of Nora Hutle. There's no doubt about it. The 5 months that Kim Lars came in, I don't think it was enough to change any fundamental things. Obviously, as I said, he had his hand all over certain things within the team, guiding them through games and all that. But there was still the imprint of Nora Hudley in the team. After this tournament, it becomes his team. From now on until the next tournament comes along, it becomes his team because he has more time to work on each player, find whichever players he wants to put in this team. That's if he decides to stay, and work on a strategy to get this team better. Because even though this team the Black Queens reached the semi-finals, you could see the glaring issues that the squad had, and they manifested in that semi-final. In the first half, their passing accuracy was well in the high 70s. In the second half, it dropped to the low 60s. That was a huge problem, and it's not just that game. It happened throughout the tournament. There were games where the first half it was the low 60s, it rose to the high 70s. Then second half, in other games, it was in the high 70s, dropped to the low 60s in the second half. They seem to be having a one half games throughout the tournament. One half they are really good, the next half they are so bad that the other team
Almost
takes
unrecognizable.
control. Almost unrecognizable, as you said. And that was the case for the semi-final as well. In the first half, really brilliant performances. Second half, they could barely pass the ball accurately. So when you do that, forget the mistake by the defender, forget the defensive errors. When you fail to keep the ball, first of all, your confidence is shot, because you and your teammates know that we can't keep the ball, so we might as well drop back, let them have it, and let them come at us. Second of all, the opponents, it goes the other way. Their confidence increases because they know, whatever the case, even if they lose the ball, they are going to get it back almost immediately and start coming at you. So they are going to get chances anyway. Third of all, when you put yourself in a position where you have to defend constantly because you keep losing the ball, you allow the opponent to create chances, opportunities to create chances, and more time to create chances. And that is what Morocco did. So I believe that obviously I didn't expect them to reach this stage of the competition, given how they started the tournament. They have surprised me in reaching the semi-finals, but once you get there, you have to go further. You have to do your best to get to the final. And once you take the lead in the semi-final, you would expect that your players would be able to control that lead, keep their composure, and they didn't, because this is where the coaching tells. In these key moments where your players are either in the lead or uncertain of themselves, or losing focus in the game, or going to a halftime leading or behind, this is what you do as a coach. This is where you are paid the big bucks. And unfortunately, they came out of that half and they felt that one goal was enough. They felt that they couldn't go and get more. They felt that even if we miss our chances, even if we fail to take our opportunities, we still have a 1-goal lead that we have behind us that we can protect. But that's not the attitude you take as one of the 4 best teams on the continent, which by default Ghana are, because they made it to the semi-finals. So I feel that there are a lot of issues to fix with this team, and he is lived off Nora Hoodler's work before this tournament. People might not agree, but that is what I feel. Going forward, if he decides to stay, now he makes the team his. But I want to build off a point Gabi was making at the end. Let's keep politics out of football. I don't know if we are going to go to that topic later, but I need to make this point that for once, I thought for once, we were all focusing on the Black Queens, whether they lost or won, that they will be the center of attention, that they will be the one everyone is talking about. But then we again drag them into politics, and it's very unfair to them, because over the last few years they've struggled for funds to play friendly matches. They've struggled
sometimes
for funds,
as little as $40,000.
Exactly.
The recent one was 40,000 under Nora.
And this is what we do this a lot, that once a team is not performing well, we take our eyes off them, or we start blaming the coaches, start blaming the players. Nobody blames the authorities who are supposed to support the team. And then once there's success, we say, oh, we put in money, our efforts are showing. When before that, everyone was complaining you were not putting in too much effort. The fact that a team is successful, I don't measure the work of an authority or supervising authority based on a team's success. I measure it based on the number of teams who are not complaining, who are not asking for help constantly.
True.
Because if there are 50 teams that are constantly complaining that you are not supporting us, you are not helping us, and there's one team that is very successful, I'm not going to be happy about that. If there are 40 teams that are playing, they are not relatively successful, but they are average, but no one is complaining because there's enough help from the authorities, the supervising authorities. I'm happy because at least you are putting the effort in to guide them, give them the best possible chance of success. And I've mentioned this thing a number of times. Give teams the best possible chance of success. Who knows how much better this team would have done had they got the help, the support, the guidance over the last few years. We might even be talking about them as the best team on the continent. That's what potential they had about 4 or 5 years ago, they were by far one of the best teams on the continent. Unfortunately, because of lack of support, they've declined and have become a shadow of themselves. Now we are pleased because the Black Queens scraped their way to the semi-finals. How can we be pleased that the Black Queens got there? It's like the Black Stars.
It's like the run where we made 5 AFCON semis and then we started declining to round of 16. Then right now we're literally begging to just make it out of the group, to literally begging to winning a game. That's what it came to.
And now we haven't qualified.
Going into a
qualified.
hypothetical situation where, let's say, the Black Stars had somehow got into the round of 16 of the last AFCON. Everyone would have forgotten about what happened before because we are into the last 16. But poor performances like that will catch up to you. And fine, the Black Queens have got the result, they've got into the semi-final, but a decline is on the horizon if we don't support them enough. These players have done enough to earn the support of the nation and GFA and the sports ministry. So I just hope that they listen to them and give them all the support they need.